foundation housing which are still running today under the Leicester Council. This is a legacy of our father that hasn't been recognised, that many of us probably don't even know this stuff about Leicester. You understand? But we're going to make sure that it's known. This broke his heart, man. He had put all he had left into this sword. Imagine that and what it would do to your esteem and your own feelings towards yourself. He felt betrayed by most people. He was heartbroken deep down, although he tried to maintain a sense of pride. Failure had struck him again, time and time again. You see from here, Dad was very hard on himself because in all he had achieved, he really had nothing to show for it. I think this put him in that distant, irritated mood he seemed to always have. Like he was just mad at the world, angry. He often had this look like he wanted to kill someone. His legacy was being denied, erased, robbed, ignored, all of that. Groundation never broke through to the mainstream. He failed at the RAF. He had also failed as a boxer in the RAF. His name was Eddie the Boxer. He lost his first few fights. Yeah? He had also, he would lose his first few fights. He failed when his hostel and housing vision collapsed or they removed him. He even failed to be recognized in the community. Yeah? Topping all of that off with failed marriages. Yeah? This was hard for a man of that kind of pride to stomach, to walk through your community and look people in the face every day. You understand? And feel that sense of unfulfillment. There's lessons in my dad's life, good ones and bad ones. This helped to turn him bitter and eat him up from inside, though he never admitted it. He carried a heavy heart because of all of this and became very negative, the polar opposite of who he could have been. All of this bitterness and trauma manifested through his dementia, and in particular, his relationship with me, my brother Freedom, my sister Eshe, and all his other children, and whom the impact was truly immense, a very heavy load for us. But he felt cheated. He often mumbled to himself at the end of our conversations, at least one of my grandchildren is going to be a millionaire, you know. If not my children, then one of my grandchildren. It meant something to him because he didn't have nothing for show for who he was. He wanted one of us, yo. It was important, not because he was in love with money, but because he didn't have nothing. He had a little house he was fighting to keep. That's it. You understand? Lesser men have got 2, 3 house, this much car, this, that. He felt, yo, what have I got from everything I've given? I've given so much of myself, I have nothing. It was important to him, for us, to build on a legacy and make sure we were self-sufficient, financially, mentally, spiritually. That's who my dad was. Zampaladus is not just a name. It's a whole philosophy. Do you understand that? If you don't, then you're not really a Zampaladus, as far as I'm concerned. Dad got sons who ain't blood, like Tanai, like Malik, like Fina Balunda. Shout out to Guy Carter, his son. Here today, we inherited this friendship. You understand? We're supposed to walk around Leicester like princes of what our father has done. Princes and princesses. That's how you're supposed to view us. Dad was a man before his time, but he was right on time. Not many men could walk in my dad's shoes at that time because of the fear. But Dad was fearless, and he would make people fearless after being under his influence. If you were a coward, or an Uncle Tom, in his words, then you couldn't be around him. You wouldn't last a minute. In his influence, you would either end up fearless, or in his own words, a bloody idiot. See, this was Dad, a very intense and multi-layered, but also a very misunderstood man. People trembled in his presence because they were afraid that he would upset the apple cart, and he often did. They were afraid he would have an outspoken outburst at the council or whoever authorities, and he often did. He was not afraid to tell the white authorities about themselves when many others were. They seen him as, yo, stay away from him. He was a man before his time in that era where people were happy to play jigaboo. Rest in peace, rise in power, beloved Father, justified and true of voice, regardless, I'll show you. In Leicester, UK, whether people recognize or not, our father was a pioneer. As stated, a giant, a real Windrush legend, whose image graces the walls of the African Caribbean Centre, whose words are documented in the journal Black Chat. In this regard, he is seen as a father figure to many of Leicester's shining sons, those such as, like I said, Malik, Tanai, the legendary Foundation Band. They're legends to us. The majority of young black men at that age, in those days, they would have come under that influence if you go out and ask them. Yeah? They were either positively or negatively influenced. Like I said, that was like Marmite, and I mean that literally. We are proud of our dad's achievements and who we are. We are proud Zampaladuses. We're proud of Dad and what he left us. We forgive him for his weaknesses and are honoured to celebrate this man for the man that he was, our father, first generation Zampaladus.
Tyrone Zampaladus is the first to transition from his immediate siblings, leaving behind, I'm not exactly how many brothers, I already met some of them today.
16 siblings.
How many brothers?
16 siblings.
16, how many brothers do we know?
I know.
Uncle, you know how many brothers? Even Uncle don't know. A whole ton of brothers, yeah? Probably about 10 of them, you know? Yeah? So I'm going to call out some of them. I know there's 2 sisters.
3.
3 sisters, there you go, 3 sisters.